Guys, welcome back. So in the previous video, we looked at all the general concept of DHCP. In this video, we are going to walk through how to install DHCP and then configure the DHCP settings. So without wasting much time, I'm on the server 2012 server manager on the dashboard. So you click add roles and features. Then we go to next, because we've been through all these next. So the role we want to install is DHCP server. So you select it and then you add the needed features. Then you click next, 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 and then you install. So we wait a while and then watch the installation. And then when the installation is done, we'll pick up from there. Okay, so the installation is completed. I'm going to close the installation wizard. There is a notification. When you install DHCP, the next thing that you have to do is you have to authorize the DHCP server. So click the notification and then click complete DHCP configuration. So it says that this action we are doing is going to create a group called DHCP administrators and also DHCP users, so that DHCP administrators will have the right to manage and administer DHCP, and then they will also authorize the DHCP. So we click next. And then you need to provide credentials for the authorization of the DHCP server. So I'm logged in as a domain administrator. If you're logged in with a different account, you need to use alternate credentials and then specify the credential that you want to use to authorize a DHCP server. So once the credential is done, you click commit and then close. So DHCP is now authorized and is ready for work. So we click tools, then look for DHCP here. So when DHCP is installed for the first time, this is how it looks like. So we have first when you expand the server name, you have IP version 4. When you expand the IP version 4, you have the server options. Now the server options allows you to configure other information that the DHCP server can give out. So first things first, we need to create a scope. For the DHCP to be able to issue IP address, we need to tell it the range of addresses it has to issue. So we create a scope. So you right click on the IP version 4 and then you select what? New scope. So when we select new scope, we go to next and then we give the scope a name. Let's call this scope our scope and then click next. Now we need to specify a starting range and then an ending range for the DHCP. So I'm going to do 192.168.1.1. Since our IP address range is class C, then it will end with 192.168.1.say 150, depending on the size of your network. Now you notice that .1 has been issued to our server. I'm doing this so we'll be able to configure the exclusion and then see how the exclusion works. So from here, the subnet mask has been specified. If your network is subnetted, you have to specify the right subnet. So we click next. Then we have to add exclusions. Remember we said exclusions are the IP addresses that you don't want the DHCP server to give out. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to enter 192.168.1.1. If it's only one address that you want to exclude from the scope, you just enter the start address and click add. But if there are more addresses like a group or a range, then you have to add the ending range also, 192.168.1.say10. So it means that I'm excluding from 1 to 10 from the IP address list. So when the DHCP is issuing addresses, it's going to start from 11. I'm going to click add. So when I click, if you don't click add, it won't work. So don't forget to always click add. From here, we click next. Then I need to specify the list duration. How long do I want the computers to use the IP address. I'm going to stick with the, by default is 8 days, but then if you have any special need, you can always change this to the number of days or hours or even minutes that you want the DHCP server to give addresses to the computers. From here, I'll click next. Then it says, do I want to configure the DHCP options? Yes, I want to do so. So I click next. And here I can specify a router's IP address to be used as default gateway. I don't currently have a router in my virtual environment, so I'm going to leave it blank and click next. But if you are doing this in a live environment, you have to specify your router's IP address to be used as the default gateway to enable your client computers to communicate with remote systems. So I click next. Then my server is a DNS server, so its IP address has been picked to be used as DNS address. If you have other DNS servers on your network, you can specify their IP addresses also to be used for DNS addresses. So I click next. I don't use WINS. WINS is no longer used. WINS is used to resolve NetBIOS names to IP addresses. So I'm going to leave it blank and click next. Then I want to activate my scope, so I say next and then finish. So my scope has been activated. When you click it, the scope has its own options. We have the address pools, then we have the exclusion here, then we have the address leases. As of now, no address has been leased out. So I'm going to switch to my Windows 10 machine, and then we are going to check if it will be able to obtain an IP address from this our DHCP server. All right, so I'm on my Windows 10 client now. So I'm going to right click network insurance. I'm going to right click the network icon and go to network insurance center. And then I'm going to click on my current connection here. Then I'm going to go to details. As of now, this system is using a static address. So when you check DHCP enabled, it says no. So I'm going to close this. Then I'm going to go to properties. I need to provide administrator credentials because this is a domain client. All right, so here I go to IP version 4, properties. Then I'm going to switch from static to obtain an IP address automatically. Do the same thing for the DNS also and click OK and click close. And then I'll just wait a while and then check the details. So you notice that now my system has DHCP enabled and it has an IP address 192.168.1.11. It was also given a DNS configuration information, which is 192.168.1.1, pointing it to our server. So that is how you configure DHCP. Let's check something on the server side also. So when I come to the server side, and then I refresh this address leases, you notice that now it tells me that I have 192.168.1.1 and the details of the client that has received that IP address, the computer's name, and then the lease duration, the time it will expire, and then we have the MAC address of that particular system. So I'm going to pause the video here. I don't want to make it long to bore you. In the next video, we'll look at how to configure reservation and then also configure DHCP failover so that we can have multiple DHCP servers for availability purposes. Thank you for watching. Like the channel and then subscribe.